gonna lower this because you're short.
Don't make fun
Kind of forgot how short you were.
I am quite short, huh?
Yeah. Kind of forgot until I saw you today, and I was like, oh, that's right.
I forgot how tall you were. I thought you were my height. 5'2".
Me? Fuck off. That's pretty funny. That was a good one. You should have saved it for the podcast. You just ruined your one joke, your one successful joke. You fucked it up.
I thought you were recording already.
Well, we are actually technically recording. Do you want to just jump into it right now? You good? You ready? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure? You sound a little nervous. Yeah, and we just cut it whenever, or we start it whenever. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, we're started.
You can start it when it says.
We already
5'2".
started it.
Okay, fine. Start it.
5'2"? You're 5'2"?
I thought there was gonna be like a little
No,
thing
there's
to
no
like,
countdown.
you
No,
know,
we already started.
no like action thing.
No, no, it's over the top. It's over the
That
top.
was like movie debut on YouTube. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, and don't forget the pictures.
Just make sure you're leaning into it.
Oh, like this.
Or just speak loudly. Like,
Yeah.
talk loud.
Use your
Kinda see it.
indoorish outdoor voice.
My indoor voice. Okay.
No, indoorish outdoor voice. You know what I mean?
That's
so like
like
if you
an
were like
oxymoron.
if you were like outside but not fully outside, like say
Okay.
you're on a covered patio.
Okay. I've
That kind of
never
voice.
I've never like measured my voice
Based on-
temperature or sound to a patio, but okay.
No?
Oh, I'll
so
try.
like imagine you're in a restaurant, right? And there's an outdoor portion, but
Okay.
it's like a covered patio. And there's other people around. But you got to talk a little bit louder cuz you're outside.
Okay. How's
yeah.
this?
I mean, you're getting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's this? Okay. They'll be like, she says okay a lot.
She's like
And
just,
cut.
Just
Yeah,
2
gotta
hours,
go.
just 2 hours of her just slowly just upping her voice.
As I get excited, I'll probably have like a loud voice. So,
Well, Elva, thank you so much for making the drive.
Giselle.
Daniel as well. Huh?
Giselle.
Yeah, I'm about to introduce you.
Oh
Calm
my-
down.
okay, fine.
Sheesh.
Damn.
Sheesh.
Okay, Jordan.
Thank you for the tamales.
You're welcome.
Shout out to Delia's.
Delia's tamales.
Delia's. Fuck, I fucked it up.
No, it's okay.
Cut. Restart. Restart. No, but thank you. They were delicious.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thanks for the drinks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Some Topo Chico seltzers.
Introduce yourself.
Just like a very basic intro, or
Sure,
just.
whatever you want to say.
Well, Jordan knows me
Like
as
an elevator pitch. Like if you were like trying to sell yourself to somebody, like what would you say?
Well, Jordan knows me as Elva, but I go by Giselle. My name's Giselle Aguirre. I currently live in San Antonio, Texas. I'm 28 years old. Jordan and I went to high school together, so we have plenty
Killeen, Texas.
Yes,
A
Killeen
town?
High School. We're the Kangaroos.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but you know, living in San Antonio right now, pursuing my career, and
Which is
I currently work in commercial real estate.
what?
I know. So
It's
no,
exciting.
I do not sell houses, and I cannot help you with your home mortgage. I get that question all the time on Facebook. They're like, "I'm trying to close this loan on my house." I'm like, "Dude, I don't
Bless
know.
their hearts.
I'm
They
so
don't
sorry."
understand the difference between residential and commercial.
commercial.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah. So, so currently I work for a company. Within that company, it's a private REIT, so it's a real estate investment trust. It's a $4.7 billion portfolio.
What does that mean?
Um,
Break that down.
What do you mean?
You said a lot there. Break that down.
So a REIT, like it's a real estate investment trust.
Sure. What's
So
that?
it's a bunch of, like let's say
excuse me.
pension funds and high net worth individuals, or any type of funds that want to invest within real estate, right? And what we do is we turn around, we take their money, and we'll invest it into, let's say, industrial warehouses that we lease to like Amazon, or we'll buy buildings in like, let's say, downtown Austin, or we actually construct them and then rent them out, right? So my job is really anything and everything that has to do with portfolio management. Money comes in, making sure these properties are performing, getting new properties into the fund. So it can get really complicated really quickly.
How'd you get into that?
So the way that I got into commercial real estate is initially, it's a funny story. So my parents, like my mom, She never graduated high school, no GED or anything like that. But during the downturn in like 2009, she ended up buying this really small shack, right? It was like this little small house. I think she bought it for like $8,000 in Killeen, right? She turned around, she started renting it for like $400 a month, right? And as she continued, she kept flipping that money into a bigger and bigger thing. So I kind of started learning from her. This is when I was like 17, 16. But, you know, back then I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not going to do what my parents do. It's like so uncool, right? I ended up going to San Antonio. I knew I wanted to do business. You know, growing up during the financial recession, you're kind of like, okay, if I don't learn how to make money, then what else can I do, right? If I can learn how to make money, I can apply that to any business or any field that I want, right? Sure. And so I went to business school, and I started taking my normal coursework, and I actually had this really awesome professor. And as an elective, I had a real estate class, and he really encouraged us. Professor Teskey, he's a badass. He also has his own podcast.
At what college?
UTSA. Yeah, okay. UTSA. Okay. So Professor Teskey really like encouraged us.
His own podcast?
Huh? Yeah, he has his own podcast.
What's it called?
You know, I don't know.
Oh.
You know?
Dang.
I know he has his own podcast.
Dang.
He plays them during class, so I don't like intentionally go follow him because he like tries to teach about real estate. I'm like, yeah. But he's really, you know, he's a badass professor. And plus it kind of helped that I had a cute guy in my class. I was like, okay, like maybe I will stick in real estate.
Is that Daniel?
Yeah, that's Daniel.
Oh.
So, and there you have it. And that's how I got into it.
So that's how you started getting into it. So how did you end up working for the company that you work for now?
Funny story, same thing. My professor, and you know, it's just always so essential. You know, when picking programs for school, and especially the people that you surround yourself with. I was very fortunate to have professors and a department that really encouraged their students to kind of get out there. Making them go out and like network and stuff. And so I was working at Topgolf. Well, first I was working at Rainforest Cafe. Okay. Hated that job. It was like terrible.
This is terribly overpriced and the food is mediocre.
Exactly. And I just had like just freaking juices of kids just running around. I was like, oh my gosh. But then I started working at Topgolf. 2 weeks in, my professor goes like, Giselle, like and this is my junior year of college. And he's like, if you want a job in commercial real estate, you need to quit your job now, and you need to focus on getting that internship, right? And so I quit my job. I had saved up like $1,000, and that was a lot, like for me, like in college. I was constantly saving all my server money, and I waited. And thankfully, this company that I'm with put out an internship that they needed somebody for 2 months. And it's a really hard company to get into. The majority of the time, they don't hire from UTSA. They hire from like these very like elite schools, and it's very competitive. And so I was there for 2 months, and they were like, "Hey, we want to keep you on. How about you do our summer internship?" Well, I was doing it against master's students, and I was an undergrad. Ended up staying on. They still liked me, so they kept me for an additional 6 months, and then it was history from there.
Oh yeah, you like it?
I like it.
You enjoy it?
It's
just like it?
I mean, it's very stressful,
sure.
right? Like any job, and I consider myself to be very ambitious. So at times it could be a bad and good thing. So as I consistently want to like continue to progress and grow within my roles and stuff, it can get really stressful. But at the end of the day, it's very satisfying.
Sure.
For me.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
It seems like you do a pretty good job of balancing that out. It seems like you guys get out, you guys have fun, you guys travel.
Yeah, every once in a while,
Yeah,
you know.
Get to enjoy it. Take that step back and be like, all right, take a break from work. You work on vacation?
Yes.
Oh, you're a savage.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, you know.
Got to.
Yeah.
Got to.
Got to.
Where's your favorite place you've been to?
Let's see. Where's my favorite place? Honestly, We recently went to Colombia, and that was really
I saw that.
beautiful.
Yes.
Just the architecture, just the Spanish influence and the architecture. There's these old houses, just very Spanish style with like the ivies and everything, and so there's no air conditioner there in majority of places, right? Only in your room do you have like a little air conditioner. So they have like these massive houses that they've turned into like hotels, right? And then they have these open spots in the middle where they just like put these like beautiful pools and just like these palm trees. It just looks so effortless. It's just, but I couldn't live there because I was like, it's too hot.
It's too hot.
I was like, bring it back.
Dude, we take it for granted.
For sure.
AC. Got the AC. We got the fan on.
We take a lot of things for granted,
dude,
for sure.
So many things for granted.
Yeah, like especially like for me, you know, the opportunities that I've had for my life, I'm just so grateful. You know, sometimes I'm like, I just get so stressed out in my own head. I'm like, oh, like I did not get that promotion. But then like you have to like consider the big picture, like what's going on in the world. Like my life is not that bad. Like I'm over here bitching about not getting a promotion. Like I need to like look at what else is going on in the world. Like I am so fortunate. You know, I was telling Daniel the other day, you know, it's so selfish, at least for myself, you know, it's so selfish for me to like pray to get a promotion when I'm like, God can have other, you know, priorities to really save somebody else versus like getting me a promotion.
Sure, I think that's a healthy way to think.
Yeah.
Especially with how we see what's happening in Afghanistan right now. I think that's a pretty healthy perspective to have because shit could always be worse.
Exactly.
The worst here will never even come close to the worst in other places.
Exactly.
And I think that's a healthy way to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best way to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, you know, I don't know if you somewhat knew how I grew up, but where I am today, it's just I'm so fortunate to have gotten out of the place that I was to where I am, and I'm so proud to be from where I am, but it also continues to drive me to work harder, right? So
Absolutely. It's all working. The effort that you put in is what you get out. Always.
Exactly.
It's always an equal equation. And you know, I was talking to Candace about that just yesterday. We were out, and I was like, I just can't do the bitching. Like I can't do the woe is me. I can't do the constant like bitching, the fucking my life is so terrible. It's like I can't do it. There's just so much worse it could be. I get to stay in this apartment. I got AC, get to do this for fun. Like I make fine money. Like there's nothing really for me to complain about. Like yeah, you know, there's some shit that's hard, but that's just like that's everything. That's everything. And you know, everything has to be put into perspective. And so I think that's the healthiest way to do it. And I think you gain those perspectives by traveling, by going to Colombia and seeing that, hey, like 80% of this place doesn't have AC and it's fucking hot. We're next to the equator, like right next to the equator. It's hot as balls.
Oh, yes.
Like it's a different kind of hot down there than it is even here.
You know, it's so funny because the temperature was not as hot as here, but the humidity was just like, oh my gosh.
Just walking out, just
exactly.
boom.
So I was like, I'm not gonna do my hair. It's not gonna be worth it.
That's cool. What else you been up to? Let's kick the shit. Let's catch up.
Let's see. I mean, honestly, majority of my time is spent at work, right? So during the week, I really try to focus on work, and in the afternoons, going to the gym is kind of my de-stressor, right? So that's kind of like my routine. But you know, I'm always trying to stay busy, so I'm kind of doing some like organization stuff within my kind of like industry right now. It's like called Urban Land Institute.
What's it do?
So it basically brings together like civil engineers and developers and kind of like commercial loan officers, and just kind of brings a community of like industry to like build better cities like in urban environments. It's a really awesome organization to be a part of, and so right now I'm co-chair of their Young Leaders Group, which is like 150 people, under like 35. So my role there is just like trying to find like things to do for our young leaders, right? So like trying to find tours or put on something simple like a happy hour, and or just like trying to get them to get exposure to certain leadership.
And what's the goal?
The goal is just to honestly to network, to build relationships, right? So in my industry, it's about being able to connect with other people, and also from being out there and connecting with other people get to share their ideas with me, right? So if there isn't something that I had thought about, and from a developer's perspective, and then also being able to look at all these cool projects that are going on, there's just so much growth right now. Austin is booming, and so is San Antonio. Not a lot of people see it, but San Antonio is just a beautiful city.
I'm in the process of flipping a house right now. I know, it's booming.
Yeah.
Booming.
Exactly.
Get to do it all over again after this one too. So
see, that's badass. You're in real estate now. See.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's how
I'm
you build
dabbling.
wealth.
I'm dabbling.
Yeah.
I'm dabbling a little bit and trying. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's and the house is fucking way more than I want to spend.
So is it is it in the?
It's in Leander.
In Leander?
Yeah, it's up north. It's a 4-3.
Okay.
And then I close September 14th.
Okay.
So by the time this episode comes out, I would have already hopefully closed, unless something goes terribly wrong. Hopefully should close.
Is that from your broker that you had on, or your real estate agent that you had?
Yeah,
recently?
Caitlin.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Caitlin, shout out to Caitlin. She's fantastic. She made it so easy. I'm too indecisive, and so I pretty much just said, hey, you got this. Take the reins. You just tell me what to do. I'll just say yes.
Yeah.
I'm better at making decisions when they're it's when there's less choices and you break them down pretty clearly to where I'd be like, okay, so here's this. I'm a little bit better at making decisions. I've gone back and forth so many times on what to do with the house. Ultimately, just going to sell it. I don't want to pay for it. It's too much. And it doesn't make any sense to really keep it.
Why don't you rent it?
Could, but technically can't rent it for 6 months, and I also don't want to live there because I have this lease until January, and I can't pay for both.
Okay, is it because it's an FHA?
No, it was a conventional loan.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a standard conventional loan, but the HOA says no rentals until 6 months.
Well, do they know how you look? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not encouraging you to do
No,
bad
and
things
I know. We're trying to keep it clean, but we had thought about that. But Austin's not very good. It's not a very good renter's market right now. The rent would barely cover the mortgage, if it covered the mortgage, because right now it's just not a good time to be renting out places.
So why do you think it's not a renter's market?
I guess the ratio 1-to-1 ratio is just not as good here as it is in other cities. Like in Houston, or at least this is what I've been told by Aaron and Caitlin. They said in Houston's much better 1-to-1. So every 100,000 you spend, you get 1,000 back in rent. And here it's just not quite there. And so even if I did rent it out, there's no guarantee that I would even get what the mortgage is.
Yeah.
It would probably be close, but I wouldn't make anything from it. And yeah, maybe the house value goes up more, but I have an opportunity right now to sell it, and I have an idea of how much I'm going to get, and it's not worth something going terribly wrong or spending even more money out of my savings in order to keep that place. And it just makes more sense to cash out.
Yeah.
And then look for a place in Houston or Killeen, or even San Antonio.
Killeen's the way to go.
Killeen's not a bad idea. My parents' house is up
enough.
pretty good now. And I've also looked when I was in Colorado, I was kind of looking at spots too.
I think
Do a little Airbnb up there in Pueblo. That'd be pretty good, because I was talking to people there, and they said the boom is just beginning. It hasn't quite hit yet, but the people are moving.
Yeah, I even to go back to Killeen though, my parents do somewhat of real estate. Well, they do real estate there, where it's booming, right? You have the support of the military there, and it's affordable enough, at least to go there and have a decent down payment for a good place, right? And then potentially be able to flip it or rent it out, right? So I'm trying to do the same thing in San Antonio. Just this summer, I was trying to look for a house, and again, it really helps. My background in real estate and what I do now really kind of helps me with the analysis. And in San Antonio right now, it's not a good renting market either, right? At least for the prices that these houses are selling.
Yeah.
So if I were to buy this house, I would either be breaking even or slightly up, right? And what are the chances that next year my taxes increase by, let's say, 20%, right? Because now they decided to, like there's a great school there and they want to add more money, right? And so right now for me, it just doesn't make sense. But as I've always had this rule in my head, and I remember it from Mr. Hess's class.
Mr. Hess.
Yes.
Shout out to Mr. Hess. I still talk to Mr.
Yes.
Hess every now and then. And I talked to Mr. Finnan not too long ago.
Oh, Mr. Finnan.
Yeah, we talked about getting him on the podcast. He's retiring soon.
Oh my gosh,
He said after he
yes.
retires, because he said he has some stories.
He looks so young, though. I could not imagine him retiring.
He's always. Have you seen him lately?
No.
Have you seen him recently?
No.
Oh, fuck. My phone's over there. But he only wears a suit now.
Oh, really? To class?
Yeah. Only wears a suit.
Oh, that's badass.
And he's just always looking dapper as hell. I miss Mr. Finnan.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. It was cool, dude. You know, a lot of this podcast has been people from Clean.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we always shit on it. We always gave it shit when we were there. But, like, growing up and looking back on it, we met some pretty dope people in Clean. Met some awesome people. A lot of them already been on the podcast. A lot of people still coming on the podcast. And the teachers we did have some pretty dope teachers.
We did.
We did. That cared. Miss Arnett.
Yes.
Uh,
She was honestly, like, I think,
Genius.
like, back, she was.
Genius.
And just so
A
caring.
genius.
And she was just so caring, right? Like, I think, like, back then, like, people thought she was mean and, like, she had this, but she was, like, she was just such a genuine, like, person trying to help people.
But I feel like sometimes people do kind of take it the wrong way when someone does care, like, to the point where it's like,
They
I don't
correct you.
understand why you don't care as much as I care about what I'm trying to tell you.
Exactly.
But I'm trying to tell you to help you. How come I care more about what I'm trying to tell you than you care about it yourself?
Well, I think, like, even, like, you guys referenced it during your Norman podcast, but it was, when somebody tries to give you that advice and correct you and give you that constructive criticism, some people take it the wrong way and may, like, you automatically become mean, right?
Yeah.
Which is, it
can be frustrating.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I really want to help you. Like,
Yeah.
I really want to help you. And it's like, but then you just get to the point where you're like, well, fuck it. Like, I don't know what else to do. Like, it just, clearly it hasn't hit you yet of the importance. And sometimes you just got to let people kind of figure that out on their own.
Exactly.
And there's
Like-
only so much you can do.
Right, like, you can always, that saying is so funny, but you can always walk a horse to water, but you cannot force him to drink.
Sounds like
or
Rocky
her.
over here.
I know. But I always tell my brother, like, I'm like, dude, you gotta do this. And he's like, no. Like, even when he was younger, like, I'm like, dude, this is how you gotta do it. And he's like, no. And I was like, all right, fine. You're gonna make it. Put your hand on that damn stove.
Yeah.
Like, burn yourself. Be like, I should have listened to
But
you.
sometimes, but I feel like there, in society as a whole, there's a lack of that. There's a lack of the people putting their hand on the stove, because there are so many people trying to dictate or tell you what the best way is, and there's not a lot of figuring things out on your own. And I feel like it's almost to the detriment. Like, it's not a good thing. I feel like we save people from themselves a lot.
Yeah, I mean, but there's, like, certain routes that you feel like you have to, at least, coming from, like, a big sister perspective, or even for, like, my friends, like, trying to prevent something that may be extremely bad for them. Like, if they're, like, learning their lesson on something, like, minimal, right? And I'm like, okay, like, I don't care. But, my brother now, and it's so funny, like, my brother went to jail, and he...
Recently?
He came out, like, a year ago, potentially?
And how old?
And he's, 22, 23. And so, he's a very free spirit, and I try to mentor him, like, after he got out of high school, and he was like, no, like, and he was always, like, so, like, rebellious, right? I'm like, dude, I've been there. Like, I've drank with my friends, like, I've done all this stupid shit, like, learn after me, but I only try to give him that advice because like I've suffered consequences and I didn't want him to suffer the same, right? And he ended up going to jail and he came out, and I think he's appreciative for that moment as well, because I don't think he'll be going back anytime soon. But he was just like, there's certain things that, yes, like I could have done differently. I was just so stubborn.
And sometimes it takes that.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. He learned.
I won't say his name. You might know who I'm talking about. I won't say his name just because when he was on the podcast, he didn't want to talk about it himself. Even though he was talking about it today, he said he wanted to talk about it. But anyways, friend got a DUI. I had to bail him out. And I was so mad at him. So mad that I had to go and get him. Not because of what happened, but because we had just had the talk like 2 months prior to this.
Exactly.
And I kept telling him, I was like, dude, you gotta stop. Like, you're going to either get in trouble or worse. Or worse. And we had the conversation. I sat him down and I told him, I was like, dude, you gotta stop. Gotta stop. This is not good. Like, you are entirely too intoxicated to be driving. Like, sometimes you get home and I'd be like, how the fuck did you make it here? And sure enough, a couple months later, boom, calls me, hey, I need you to come get me. Of course I did. But when I got there, I laid into him because I was like, dude, we just had this conversation. And so we were talking about it today, and he was just talking about like how he's, in a sense, kind of grateful for that whole thing that it happened, because it's an eye-opener. And unfortunately, sometimes those things, that's what it takes sometimes.
You gotta
for some people to be like,
you gotta burn your hand on the stove every once in a while so you can learn your lessons.
You do. It's important. It's important. And I feel like there needs to be more room for error. Like, we need to allow people to fuck up more. But with the height of society and where we're at with social media and everything else, it's like you have to tiptoe. Yes. We're not allowing people to fuck up anymore.
I'm just so glad that we did not, like, we grew
I'm
up with.
so glad we didn't grow up right now.
Exactly. Like, we grew up, I think, with MySpace or whatever, but it wasn't instant.
No.
Like, it wasn't like, well, you were doing this stupid shit at this party and, like, let me record you. And it completely ruins people's lives. Yeah. I hate it. I'm just so glad that we did not get to experience that.
Thankfully, there were camera phones when we were in high school, but they were shit.
Like, I caught some of your pictures with your Justin Bieber hair, so
exactly.
I'll dig some of those up.
Exactly. We'll have to edit some in there. We'll have to edit some in after the fact. But that's important, though. And to go back to what you said probably about 10 minutes ago, and you were saying in your organization that it allows you to hear other people's ideas. And I feel like social media makes it seem like people don't want to hear other people's ideas. But in actuality, doing this and having conversations with people, we often kind of all agree. We just maybe see a different path there, and we all kind of want the same thing in the long run. And again, we might have different ways to get there, but it just seems so exaggerated on social media that everyone just wants to yell at each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's actually like that in the real world.
I don't think it is.
But it gets so exaggerated and so, like, amplified on social media, like, to the point where you don't even want to talk to nobody. You're like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to say something wrong. Oh, dude.
I'm like,
there's so many times where,
especially like with
one
political,
scroll, and then I'm like, whoop, I close it out.
I'm like, I'm tired of this. There's certain things that I'm like, okay, I'm very passionate about this, but other than that, I'm like, my friend, like, I'm coming here to escape from like my stresses of the day, and then I have to log on and see all this bullshit of people just fighting all day, or like even like Facebook, like people like commenting about, I'm like, oh, like I don't even want to be on here.
It's terrible.
But it's crazy because I think social media has done this thing where it creates, in my mind, it creates this sense of division between people, but in reality it's not like that, right? Like, everything in social media is super amplified, right? So like even like during like the elections or whatever, there's there's like extreme on each side, right? And so like let's say you had 10 people representing the entire country. 2 on each side are extreme and 2 on each side are on the other extreme, and then you have like 6 people in the middle and they're like, you know, so,
yeah, fucking like,
yeah, but it's like, but the ones who get amplified are those 4.
Yeah,
and like you're
absolutely.
just like seeing those 2
Absolutely.
views, and it's just like people don't always think like that, you know, like, and it's all about communication, right? Like people need to learn to listen to each other. Like it just, there's this thing of like red and blue and purple, like McDonald's and Burger King. I'm just like, shut the fuck up. I'm over it.
I feel you. We were just talking about this at work today, and I knew this was gonna come up, and my mental health is diminishing quick.
Exactly.
Because like I do genuinely care, like, and I do want things to be better, but it just
Exactly.
seems like over the last 2 years it's just been,
Yeah.
and it just won't stop.
Yeah.
So we get hit with COVID, and then George Floyd, and then protests, riots, and then
Delta variant and all this.
what happened at the end of last year?
um,
Anyways,
The right.
riots, and then straight into, fast forward to today, we got just 2 weeks ago Afghanistan. This week, abortions. And it's just like, fuck. Like we just can't catch
I
a break. We can't
know.
catch 1 week of just like,
silence. There's everything always going on, and you know, earlier this year, like I was just feeling some type of way, right? Like I was just feeling like sad or anxious, and I just couldn't. And I try not, and I'm very like self-aware of my mental health, and every time something like that occurs, I'm like, I'm sad for a reason, and I
Sure.
just don't understand why. So I'm like
Sure.
trying to go through all these rabbit holes trying to figure it out. But it's like, it's just this massive consistency of updates of bad things going on in the world that is just like, yeah, of course it's going to make me anxious. I'm like, okay, Delta variant and all this stuff. I'm like, can it just like,
Yeah.
can we put some good stuff
Nope.
on
nope.
social media?
Nope.
Like, you know, I saved ducks off the side of the road today. Like, I feel so great. I'm like, good for them.
And you can't help but to see the grabs at power on both sides.
Yeah.
You just see who can grab more power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just, you got the abortion things here, which is just so crazy. And then New York,
Mm-hmm.
you see them grabbing at power, the opposite grabbing at power. You got mandatory vaccines, and you just see this constant, just who can outdo the other side. And it's just like this constant, no, we're going to fuck shit up further.
Exactly.
And they just keep going back and forth. And ironically, both of them are equally, like, both of them are among, like, the same concept. Like, they're both about control. But yet both sides defends both of their sides. But
Exactly.
it constantly contradicts each other. Because this side, when they complain about this side, they're talking about how they're trying to control people with COVID and fear and da-da-da-da-da. And then this side now is talking about how they're trying to control women's bodies. And so it's like, we're both, the root of the issue right now is the same.
Yeah.
But this side defends its side, and this side defends its side. But the root of the issue is the exact same on both sides.
So there's this, and I remember this, and I'm looking it up real quick so I don't like chop it. But when I was in, the allegory of like Plato's cave, right? And what this is like he's kind of like an Aristotle, right? Plato. There's these prisoners in this cave, right? And they're facing the wall. They're facing the cave, the wall. And you have light coming in from the back of you. And it's shining through. And then there's like puppets and like things like going on. So they can only see the reflection of the light in those puppets. You know, so they think like this world is just like bad. And that's how I see social media, right? Like at one point, one of the prisoners breaks free and they kind of go up. I'm like, it's not that bad. Well, it's the same thing with social media. It's like you have all this just massive, and also like social media, like, puts you into this rabbit hole, and it continues to feed things that you like, right? It just continues to give you that feed. But once you realize, you're like, the world is not that bad.
It's not.
It's not that bad,
It's not.
right? Like, my friends, like, are not, you know, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just so amplified. Yes, like, things are really bad, but they could be worse, right? So we, especially in the U.S., like, we could be living like some of these other countries that are so unfortunate. We're just so fortunate here. It's just crazy. I follow this guy on Murph's, like, his Instagram. It's like Murph's Life or something. I just recently followed it, and it just put my life in perspective so much. And, you know, I've always thought this way, again, like, my background, but it's this guy, and he's from the U.S., I think, or some other English-speaking country, I don't remember. But he goes into, like, these, like, third-world countries, like Guatemala, and you see these people living in these shacks. And I kid you not, it's, like, these, like, aluminum roofs, like, bricks for, like, a bed frame. And then you have, like, a little, like, mattress, right? Like, water leaking through. They don't have doors, and they have floors.
The
floor's still
dirt.
Yeah. A lot, like, even my relatives, like, back in the day when I was younger, like, my relatives in Mexico lived like that. They didn't have, like, electricity there yet, or plumbing. They had, like, outhouses. And it's just, you have to, like, come back and realize, like, man, like, I am so fortunate to live the way that I do. And, like, this guy goes out there and, like, raises money on social media for these people, and they go down there and they build, like, houses for these, like, unfortunate people that are living. And it's just like, man, like, I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Right.
Like, I need to just, you know, it just kind of, like, I need to mellow out, like, just, you know.
As people are on social media tweeting from their iPhone.
Exactly.
From their $1,300 cell phone.
Honestly, exactly. Honestly, like, in January, I took a social media break, and I cannot tell you how much I got done. Like, I just felt so productive.
Probably so much more.
Like, I waste so much time on it. Like, during the week, I try to delete it. Like, there will be times where I'll delete it for the entire week, and I'll just get on the weekends. But, you know, like, it's such a waste of my time.
It's completely off my homepage.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, trying to do something like this, have to be on social media.
Exactly.
Right? And you have to constantly be blasting on social media. But it's like, I get on there, and then if I start scrolling, I'm like, fuck, I don't even want to be on here. And then it makes me not want to do what I need to do. Because then I just get so depressed. I'm just like, I don't want to be on here.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you brought up something a second ago about active listening, just listening. And there's a common theme on the podcast. Doing what we do in retail sales, you quickly learn that people, don't listen. And they're also super surprised when you actually listen.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? I was opening my
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
And so it's like, and so you just begin to really realize that people don't listen, and they don't expect you to or it's not even that they don't expect you, they definitely expect you to listen, but they're actually surprised when you actually listen.
Yeah.
And then I just find myself just repeating myself like 30 times, and I'm like,
well, it's also like when you're talking to somebody and they're like on their phone and you're talking to them, I'm like, dude, like, I'm talking to you, like, you can't be actively listening and being on your phone at the same time.
Yeah.
But
it's
you
crazy.
know, but sorry, I didn't mean to say that there isn't, like, important issues going on in this world, right?
Of course there is.
Yeah, there's a lot of important stuff going on, and it does matter, but there's, like, that mediocre stuff going on that you're like, like, should it be a blue dress or a gold dress? No, I'm kidding. What was it for you?
The picture going around?
What was it? It was a blue dress for me.
I think it was blue
good.
for me.
We're normal.
No, wait, maybe it was gold.
Okay, then you're not normal.
I don't remember.
I was like, I'm gonna leave now.
I feel like it depends what angle you saw. It was like if you turned your phone this way, it was blue. And
no, you were just supposed to look at it. That's it.
Oh, I was trying to really figure it out.
Oh, I mean,
just
like,
trying to get to the bottom of this.
Like, maybe I'm just, like, not, like, creative like that. I just looked at it, like, okay, it's blue.
It was blue.
I'm
I'm pretty sure it was blue.
Maybe you have, like, a third eye.
Maybe it was gold though. No.
Your third eye was.
No, I really only have one. I'm blind in this one,
Oh,
so
yeah,
I really just have the one eye. Yeah, thanks
like,
though. Thanks for bringing that up.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I was like, oh wow, he looks so different because you're not wearing your glasses.
True. No, I gave those up. It doesn't make a difference because my eyes are set at this point, so I only had to wear them until I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And I didn't find that out until this dog ate my glasses. Not this dog, but a dog. I dog ate my glasses, and then I went to the.
It's a really good excuse, though.
It really happened though.
Yeah.
No bullshit. I was in San Diego. You remember? You might remember. Remember Megan Rourke?
Who?
Megan Rourke. She was 2 grades younger than us.
Yes, it sounds familiar. Was she redhead?
No.
No? Okay, never mind. Just kidding.
That's Caitlin. Wait, was Caitlin redhead?
I don't even
I think
remember.
she might have been.
I should have brought my yearbook.
I'm sorry. Caitlin was just on. Her episode hasn't came out yet. So she was in Lebanon for she was in Lebanon for almost 2 years. 18 months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And she was doing mission work. Or Peace Corps.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool conversation.
Yeah.
She sent me a bunch of pictures.
Sibby was doing the same thing.
Who?
Siverson? Zach?
Oh, yeah. The principal's son.
Yeah, he was. I think he was doing the Peace Corps at some point. That's just so honorable.
Dude, I really wish that I'd kind of known more about that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that's something I would have really enjoyed.
Yeah.
She was telling me about it, and she was telling me about how she was in Lebanon, lived in multiple different cities, got to stay with different families, and then she ended up getting to live there on her own. Like, she had her own place, she was getting paid, and she was like in her own little thing, but she was living in another country, and that's really cool.
See, that's so badass. Like,
it is badass.
when I was in high school, there's no way that I can do anything like that. But it was just more financially driven, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have to get out, go do something with my life so I can come back and help my grandparents, kind of thing. And it's always been this, like, very structure for me where I'm like, okay, like, what's the next thing? How do I get there? Like, they gave so much for me, right? Like, I don't know if you know the story of my grandparents, but, just for everybody listening, like, my grandparents are immigrants, right? They came to this country, they went to Oregon, and they were picking potatoes. Like, my grandpa has arthritis all over his body because they used to be in these freezers, like, putting away potatoes, sorting through potatoes, right? And my grandma too, like, I could not imagine, like, the hours that she had to work, and then she had 2 children, like my mom and my aunt, taking them to school. But then they, moved down to the valley, and my mom, she ended up having me when she was 15 years old. So I had a very young mom. And so my grandparents, like, really started to, they raised me. They took care of me, right? And it's so crazy to see now, but, like, in the position that I am today, and I went to college and I got educated in finance, right? And so as I've kind of broken through to them and kind of opened up their mortgages and all that stuff, I'm like, it's insane. They came to this country, they speak English, but not like you and I, right? And so they got a loan for like a 15% interest rate, and I'm just like,
for a house,
for land, and I'm just like, oh my,
fuck,
right, exactly. It's just like all these, and even for a house, I think they had a really high interest rate for the house that I grew up in, and it's just so crazy because they made so many sacrifices for me. Like, we didn't grow up rich, like. I lived in downtown Killeen. There was like prostitutes walking around. My grandma would always tell me, she's like, Mika, like, we'd go to State Farm because that was the insurance company that they were using. And there was a secretary in the front, and she spoke English and Spanish. And my grandma was like, Mika, like, you should try to go to school so you can be like this girl. Like, to her, like, that was just like the highest achievement, whatever. My grandpa would always tell me stories like, do chores, he would tell me the story about this little boy that would ask his dad for money and would put it away. So he would ask his dad for money for toys, and so he would put it away, and then all of a sudden when he was grown up, he ended up taking that money and, like, going to college, right? And, like, those kind of stories kind of stuck with me as I got older, right? And just kind of like seeing the way that my grandparents just sacrificed so much for me, like working in Fort Hood and cleaning these houses, like my grandpa, my grandma, like out until like 1, 2 in the morning, cleaning. And then now, like, fast forward to where I am today, right? My grandparents are living in this little shack. All these sacrifices that they made for me, they're living in this little shack in Temple, Texas, and the financial education that they didn't receive, right? They're smart, hardworking people, right? But you're coming into a different country and it's completely different. You don't know what interest rates are, and like you have to work your entire life to save up for retirement, which is insane to me, right? Like, it's just crazy that we have to just do that. Like, why? I don't know.
We see it a lot. We see people come in 70 or 80 still working,
Exactly.
coming in to buy furniture, and it's like, oof,
Exactly.
you're like 70 or 80 and you're still grinding.
Exactly. And my grandma.
And it's not because they
she's-
want to.
Exactly.
It's like, man, that I cannot allow that to be me.
Exactly. Like, I tell myself, my grandparents sacrificed their education and everything to be
She might
here.
need to go out. Yeah, she might need to go out. If you don't mind, senor. Por favor.
She's so cute.
Yeah, she's Swedish. She gotta go out. Sorry, she ruined.
No, it's okay.
She
No.
ruined the flow right there.
No, it's okay.
You're in a good
She's like,
spot.
she needs to go to the restroom. But no, it's incredible. Like, seeing how much they sacrificed. They came to a new country to
Perspective.
give me a better education, right? And like, I'm like, I am going to take advantage of that. Like, they sacrificed so much for me not to like come here and go to school and do something with my life. Like, no. And so as I continue to grow in my role, like, my number one goal is like, how am I going to continue to help my grandparents, right? You know, I'm very fortunate. Just, they loved me so much, and you know, the hard work that they installed in me, and continuous support to say, hey, you need to go to college. Like, you need to be smart about it, but you need to go to college.
Gives you
So-
perspective, and we see it again. Back to work, like there is a large foreign population here in Austin,
Mm-hmm.
large, and it's growing rapidly.
Yeah.
I would say every other customer is probably not from here at this point. It's probably 1 in 4
Mm-hmm.
at this point, either Hispanic or Middle Eastern, or from an Asian country, regardless, or even an African country. And I had a customer. My favorite customers are always from either Ghana, Nigeria, or Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
They're always my favorite customers. They're always so cool. But more importantly, it's one told me a story that kind of stuck with me. He said that he came over here. He was from, I think he was from Cameroon. And he came over here. Him, his wife, and his baby was 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
Came over here. Neither of them spoke English.
Mm-hmm.
And he learned English by doing Uber. And then, now, fast forward to today, about I think it was like 4 or 5 years he's been here. He's now one of the head maintenance dudes on the monorail downtown,
Mm-hmm.
working, making a good living. And it's like, dude, the balls it takes to go to an entirely different... It's one thing for us to go visit a country where they don't speak English. That's one thing, right? But to go pick up your whole family with your 1 year old kid
Mm-hmm.
and move yourself to another country where you don't speak a lick of the fucking language and no one speaks your language. I mean, what's the chances you're going to find someone that speaks... I don't even know what language they speak in Cameroon, but what's the chances of you finding another person who speaks that language?
Exactly.
Not very likely. You can't walk into HEB and like, hey, you have a Cameroon language speaker. Like, that's not a thing.
It's like we go to other countries and we expect people to speak English, right?
Exactly. But you can't come here from somewhere like that and expect someone to speak that language. There's a 0.00001% chance that you're going to find that person.
Yeah.
And they come here and they have to go into HEB on their own, or they have to go buy furniture, or they have to find a way to get an apartment, or find a place to live, or go to a house.
Get a mortgage at a 15% interest rate.
And it's
'cause
just
you-
like,
Is that good?
holy shit.
Yeah.
It's so it's the amount of, like, how bad does it have to be somewhere
Mm-hmm.
for you to take your 1 year old kid to a whole different country where you don't speak a lick of the English, lick of the language? Like, that's nuts.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned it the other day, or during I think your realtor's podcast, Caitlin,
Mm-hmm.
you were saying how like Hispanic kids, they
have the hardest. They have the toughest
Yeah.
life.
And even like, you know, it's so funny because as a child, my grandparents didn't speak English and I grew
Mhm.
up with them. And so I remember learning how to write a check when I was like in 5th grade. And like having to translate
Yep.
for them, and you know, sometimes like my grandma would say like certain things, like she'd get so mad, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, I don't want to translate." But she's like, "You better translate." Like I was like, "Okay." She's like,
You better tell that lady what I said.
she's like, I know if you didn't say it. So she's like,
But it's true though. It's true, and I speak enough Spanish to sell in Spanish when it comes directly to furniture or.
¿Hablas español?
No, sí, un poco.
Un poquito.
Pero, like I can talk food and furniture. That's it. Past that, like yesterday I had a customer who I sold in Spanish, no problem. But then I fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
and the level of Spanish it took to explain the fuck up was so light years above my Spanish. Just levels above my Spanish.
Google Translate.
And just. And I couldn't explain it. Luckily, we have a few managers who speak Spanish, but it was just light years above my Spanish.
Stop
I had
fucking
no
up,
idea.
Jordan.
I forgot one coffee table, and then the whole thing went to fucking shit. But yeah, but the point is though, it's like it takes so much guts, like so much, to go to a whole different country, move there with your family. And be like, well, this is where we're going to live now.
Yeah.
And the interesting part of all that, I love talking to these people.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're from an Hispanic country or from an African country, I love talking to them because I always ask them. I always ask them, how do they like it here?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is always the fucking same. They love it.
Of course.
They love it here. And I just wish more people had that same conversations with these people,
Mm-hmm.
because
They're just
not-
so appreciative.
They're not bitching about nothing. And
They're
like
so
I get it, like
appreciative.
you said, there are some things that need to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Of
There's
course there
improvements.
is.
Yeah, of course.
That's with anything.
Exactly.
That's with anything. And no, we shouldn't not necessarily strive for those things to get better. But there's like a fine line between striving to get better and
We still,
like
you still need those people that are out there fighting for better things, right?
Sure.
You totally do, right?
shout out to them.
No, truly, because like I'm like shit. Like I wish that I
As long
could
as they're doing it properly.
right? Like, but it. But again, it's just kind of like even, and it's not necessarily to a political environment,
Yeah,
right? Where it's like anything, right? It's just a reflection to your own personal life, right? Like you put it in perspective, like how fortunate am I to like be able to speak to you in a very, I speak to you well. I'm able to like read, what's going on like off the menu. It's so crazy. Like we went to Paris and it kind of, you always hear like, oh, Paris, they hate Americans.
Dude, I
do.
was just having this conversation with my mom. My mom was like, they hate us there. And I was like, Mom, have you been? And she was like, no. I was like, then how do you know?
No, they do. They really do.
They really do.
Yes, because like it's crazy. We go to these countries and we expect them to speak English.
It's when I went to Italy, sorry,
No, it's okay.
sorry.
No, we were just saying like we were
But
speaking in
same thing.
Spanish because we were like we don't want them to hate us. Like, yeah, I was like, stop speaking English. Like they're gonna like.
But it's wild, and and I apologize for those people like that. I hate those people. I hate those people that go to those countries and they expect everyone to speak English.
Mm-hmm.
You should learn how to say, do you speak English in that language? And you should at least make some attempt.
Mm-hmm.
You should make some attempt. And when I went to Italy, I learned how to say, do you speak English in Italian? And then when I went to Spain, same thing. I spoke enough Spanish to get through Spain However, if I didn't know how to say something in Spanish, I would ask them if they spoke English before I just started just blurting out English. And
Yeah, I know.
Damn.
Yeah, they're really aggressive.
So
Yeah, you are aggressive.
Okay.
Like super hiccups. They're not normal.
My grandma, what she used to tell me is put
Hold
some
your-
salt
Oh.
on your hand, and you drink 3 sips of water, and you pause in between, and then you lick the salt, and then it goes away.
Between each gulp or just
No,
at the end?
At the end, but you have
Okay.
to like gulp, and then gulp, and they go away. I mean, it works sometimes. It
Want
doesn't
some
work
salt?
other times.
You want to try it? Hey,
You're like
Keep
that
going.
Mexican remedy. Is
The
that
mics
what?
are picking it up.
Bro.
I'm trying to...
It's the tamales. It's the
oh,
hot
the
sauce.
tamales.
Oh, is it truly?
The tamales.
You're drunk? I'm just kidding.
He's over there getting tipsy. No. No. It's the carbonation.
Don't close my mouth. Watch it. It's over now.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We should scare
But if I
you.
close my mouth, I'm pretty sure it's over. Of
It's
course,
over.
I want to show like how.
I would
loud it
always...
is.
I would always hold my breath.
Yeah, I tried when I was younger.
Yeah. I would always hold my breath and be like... and then be like...
Right when I was going to show you how loud they actually are, and I'm not suppressing it.
Yeah.
Of course it's over. So.
I was like looking at it. I was like, is he hiccuping?
Oh, he was... Yeah, definitely hiccuping for sure. Hmm?
thought it was a dog.
Oh, no. She over there just...
She's
Sometimes-
like, I'm chilling.
Sometimes she makes some noises and you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, she made one this morning where I was like,
Oh no, my dog has the cutest yawn.
Aw.
Like she just like, and I'm just like every time she does it, I just like my heart just melts. You want to try to do it? No, I'm not gonna do
Oh.
it. She just
yeah,
does this like.
you do a
no.
dog yawn impression?
Yeah, no, I
No,
still like
she's
my dog.
no, seriously.
So
like
do you do the good dog yawn impression? Let's see
No,
it. Let's
like-
see it. No pressure.
no, I can't.
You got this.
No, I can't. I was about to try.
You got this.
No, I had
you
a.
got this. No pressure.
It's so funny. I had a boss like trying to show us like how beagles bark, and he'd be like at my desk or like how he'd be like ooh 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 in the middle of the office, and I'm just like, dude, like please stop.
I love
like,
it though. I
it's
love
so
people who are
funny.
super comfortable with themselves.
No, it was just like he was just like different though, like.
Yeah, but that's okay though. Like, I've learned how important that is.
No, yeah, like importance different, but he was just like.
I'm saying like how important it is to just be you.
Yeah, agreed.
And people will accept you or not accept you, and find the people who accept you.
I didn't accept.
But at the end of
I
and
just
that's
kidding.
fair.
He was
He might not
funny.
be
He
your
was
cup of
funny.
tea.
No, no, he
However,
was
he's
funny.
comfortable enough with himself to act a fool in public.
Yeah,
And I can respect those people.
yeah.
They don't have to be your cup of tea, and that's fine. Like, you don't have to be friends with that person. However, I respect the fact that they are so comfortable with themselves that they do it anyways.
They can be weird.
Yeah, and they have no problem.
No, I think what I was alluding to is just there was just something that had happened prior.
Oof, fuck.
What happened?
Just straight chills.
Ooh,
just-
you were just like, wow, like I'm different and I'm embracing it, and now I'm preaching about it on a podcast. That'd be different. Be
What was that?
the
What was
double
that? Have
discount.
another one. Do you need another one?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
No, I
Are
still
you
have,
empty?
No, I still have a little bit. I have like
Okay.
3/4 of it left.
What are y'all doing after this?
We don't have any plans.
Are y'all staying here? Or are you going
No,
home?
we were thinking about we were driving back. So,
Oh.
I mean, unless you're inviting us to a bar or something, you know.
Well, after that one takes a nap, I'm sure it's a
Like-
possibility. It's a possibility,
So-
even though my ass is like,
I have not hung out with you in a bar environment or any kind of drinking environment in a really long time.
since beer pong, since
Yes,
we had to
just
put
shut
you in a
up.
chokehold.
Shut up, Jordan.
Philip
No.
Grant and I, for
Oh my
one,
gosh.
you are the strongest 5'2", 110-pound woman I've ever met in my life.
You know, I don't know. That water bees just sounded so good. Obviously, clearly.
Like, holy shit. So we're playing beer pong.
No,
I still remember
oh my
this.
God.
Philip Grant made a shot off someone's dick. He went doink, and it hit the dude in the dick, and it bounced
Who
in the
was
cup.
it?
Who was all there?
I don't even remember this.
Clearly.
So I think no.
Even
you
more the
were-
reason why we
no,
had
I'm
to
like,
restrain
I'm
you.
you totally were thinking of some like other 5'2" Mexican girl.
No,
like,
definitely
that was
you.
not me.
That was your birthday. I remember.
But you earlier thought
explicitly.
my birthday was in December, so
that
clearly.
was a poor guess. We were outside. It clearly wasn't December.
Oh my gosh. You know, we had a lot of fun though. Like,
Sure.
I think like we did a lot of fun
Sure.
things.
I wanted to strangle you half the time, but yeah, we had tons of fun.
You know what? Eric and I wanted to strangle you too, so it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Look, I remember when do you remember Erica, like her first day, she came with she had tore her ACL.
Yes, she had a
And
knee
she came
brace.
in with that knee brace on.
Yes.
She was just limping in the class.
Oh, I love her.
Aw.
Yes. Were you in our AP history class
Yeah, with
with the lady that always wore the purple jacket?
yeah. Fuck, what was her name?
I don't remember. But that's how Eric and I became best friends. We actually
We were
mastered
also
each
in-
other's handwriting.
Were you
and
not
like,
in
we had
my-
pop quizzes? So
Were you not in my AP English class my junior year?
I don't remember.
We were in. I
That
remember
lady-
we
the
were
one
in.
upstairs.
We were in World History together sophomore year
Mm-hmm.
with Ryan.
Brian who?
Ryan. Fuck, I went to college with him. He played football. The only other like few white guys that played football was me, him.
Oh, Ryan.
Yeah,
oh,
Ryan,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Now I remember. Ryan.
What was his last name? Ryan.
Right, white boy Ryan. He recently got married, I think.
He did.
Yeah.
Him and Josh Yonker are married.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Yeah.
see. Ryan. Oh, my God. What's his last name?
Damn, what is his last name? This is gonna
It
kill
was
me.
something like unique, wasn't it?
Nah, maybe.
Not Ryan.
Why are you
Jones.
Ryan Jones, not that unique. Nope.
I was like,
Pretty
unique?
white.
No, it's because you know what? It's just now you know people by their
What is
Instagram
this
name.
dog
I'm like,
doing?
I was thinking, she's looking at the
She's
pole.
licking the tripod.
She's
She
so
is losing
cute.
her mind. She is.
Well, stop
she's-
rubbing like tamales
she's so-
on there.
She's so adorable. Look at her. She is the cutest thing in the world.
She
She's
is
the
really
sweetest.
cute.
She's the sweetest dog ever.
So, I'm proud of you for starting this podcast. It's really
Aw,
like
thanks.
no, it's really great. Like you see people like pursuing their dreams and like really getting out there. It takes effort, right? It takes effort, and then like for me, like I would eventually love to like do like my own fitness clothes or something, right? But it's like there's this like imposter syndrome that sometimes like sneaks up, right? And you're like, shit, like I can't do it. And then people like break through that shit, like, and that's
It's
pretty
tough.
badass.
It's tough. I don't know if I've broken through it.
I mean, hey, you're doing it,
Trying.
right? I
Trying.
mean, you're doing it.
yeah,
Jay,
we're doing
You're not
it. We're sitting
trying.
here right
You're
now. We're
doing
doing
it.
We are doing
Exactly.
it. We are doing it.
Exactly.
I am wearing a shirt.
It
that
takes
does have
building-
my name on it.
Exactly. It takes building blocks, right?
It
So like
does.
it's not going to be immediate, but you're out here doing a good thing, pursuing your dreams, and that's
think it's-
pretty admirable.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. I think we have good conversations on here.
Mhm.
What? What can I do for you? Okay, you want to say hello?
She wants
You
to be
wanna
on the
say
podcast.
hello? She's always on. I think she's in every episode. Just like this, actually. Okay, you're just licking everything, huh?
Do you think that they can hear that she licks?
Maybe.
Oh, that was her. Did you guys hear that?
It just turns into ASMR.
All right, so let's see the yawn now. Now you've had some time.
I don't know.
You got this.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know. How would you
Like
do
when
it?
she like stretches out.
She's like, I don't know. I don't do it cute enough. Like she just says, what did you do? Can you try to
Just
do?
like that.
No, she does. No, I sound like those bats. Like, she's like, ow. I don't know. It's like she just does this like
Ow.
little cute like, and then she just like goes.
Yeah.
And so
I
when
know
I'm-
what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
So when I'm hungry, I'm just like, I'm like, Daniel, feed me. So next
That's
time
awesome.
you should take notes.
Oh. Is that what it is? Is that
Yes.
like is that the universal now?
Yeah.
I'm hungry
Yes.
noise. So one thing we do at Muay Thai is like we always do that. So like anytime like, oh, so she thinks she badass.
You know what we do in Mexican? We're like, ah, you're badass. Ah. That's truly like you'll hear like like I just graduated college. Ah. But we mean it in a loving way, so.
That's It's like, do other people do this or just you?
No, a lot of like, so like, you know, you go to the south side of San Antonio, you hear, you did a podcast? That's what all, yeah, exactly. That's what my friends would say.
For people who are just listening to this, they're going to be like, what the
They're
fuck
like,
is she doing?
who is she? Okay, look up, this is like Mexican girls. Actually, Mexican guys do too. With them, it's kind of like, it's like kind of, it's a discredit thing in a funny way.
I'm going to steal that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to
so
steal
funny.
that. That's pretty funny.
You should start doing it.
I'm
I'm gonna say something later. And,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to learn.
We should.
We'll treat.
We should. She said she had to go do something after this, but I'm sure she'll go out. We'll go out. But there's not too many places on this side of town other than like real typical like pool hall bars.
Oh hell no! I'm going home.
Nah.
I'm just kidding. Like Coda Austin.
We
and
could
go,
play
just kidding.
pool.
I'm kidding.
We could play pool.
No, yeah, like
Or darts.
I'll beat your ass in pool. I do
En
like-
serio?
I do like pool.
In
yeah.
pool? You gonna beat me? You gonna beat me in pool?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. No, it's so funny. So Daniel does boxing. He recently did a boxing match.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's so funny. But when he's training, there's like this.
Oh yeah. You gotta breathe.
I fucking hate that shit.
You gotta breathe.
But then you said that I guess like your what is it Muay Thai?
Muay Thai.
I think of like a what is it Mai Tai like
Muay
the
Thai.
cocktail.
Yeah, Mai Tai. That's funny. Everybody says that. No, we're like every boxer's worst nightmare because
What?
we kick.
You kick ass.
No, we kick.
Eh.
Yeah, they don't like being kicked. The boxers every time they spar, so you're not gonna kick, right? Just hands, right? Yeah, which is okay. Just
Wait,
hands.
did you did a tournament
Mhm.
recently? Was it a boxing or was it
No, it was
Muay
Muay
Thai?
Thai.
Muay
It was
Thai.
Muay Thai.
Is it kind of like UFC?
Muay Thai is like kickboxing, but on crack.
Okay.
So you can use elbows and knees, and you have the clinch.
Okay.
So everything but the ground game.
So can you hit with your fists?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's encouraged.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just like.
yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
like I'm gonna have to
encouraged.
watch that or something. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I'm a little
So
slow.
yeah, it's intense kickboxing.
Hmm.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Did you enjoy the boxing?
Yeah, I loved it, man.
It's fun.
Loved it, yeah.
There's nothing like it.
No.
There's no rush like it. And I will stand by this. Everyone needs to get their ass whooped.
I haven't
You
gotten my ass whooped.
need to get your ass whooped. I get my ass whooped by a 17-year-old girl every Tuesday, Thursday.
Well, yeah,
you know
'cause
how
they're-
humbling that is?
Yeah, because you're 5'2" and like
Ex-
110
exactly.
pounds.
Exactly. You know how humbling it is to get your
Is it
ass
really
whooped?
humbling? Is it really hard to
Yes!
kick your ass up?
Yes,
I'm just
because
kidding.
you're like anyone can beat your ass. Anyone can put the hands on you at any time, and she will fuck your life up. She has a right hook from hell. She's hit me the hardest out of anybody. She's hit me the hardest. She hit me one time where I looked around and said, "Who the fuck just hit me?"
Well, you need to work on yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
Clearly,
I'm just kidding.
clearly.
No, once
but-
I was training with Daniel. What training?
Uh-oh.
And I put some boxing gloves on to help him train, you know? And so I was like trying to like hit him. I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden he comes after me, boom, and busted my lip in the middle of the street. And I was like, dude,
But
you just hit me.
But see, now you're humbled.
No, I was not humble.
She's
I was
like, "You just
pissed.
hit me." And I'm like,
I was like,
you can't say that
and then like
at night.
everywhere we would go, I'd be like, yeah, Daniel busted my lip, but just as a joke, you know, like I was just joking with him.
But for real, everyone should get their ass whooped once.
Yeah, well, I grew up with Mexican grandparents. They whoop my ass every day. I'm very humbled by
Right?
by belts.
A little grateful
by,
for it.
You know, like
A
these
little grateful for it.
These little thin sticks from the
And obviously,
trees.
there's a difference between like us getting our ass whooped at practice and someone just jumping you and beating you to a bloody pulp. That's completely different.
Yeah.
But what we do, where you realize it doesn't matter what they look like, it doesn't matter who it is, it doesn't matter how big, how small, anyone can put the hands on you if they know what they're doing. It's humbling. You don't go around, you don't carry yourself in public the same way.
Mm-hmm.
People walking around like this, bumping shoulders, like, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to allow you to do that because I know what I can do.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have to show off. I don't have to do that because we can go.
Yeah, like, let me humble you.
I could,
Yeah,
but it's like, but there is really something to it, especially in jiu-jitsu is the same way too. You know, you get strangled by a 17-year-old girl. You're like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, like people are killers. Doesn't matter, girl, man, doesn't matter.
Well, I
People
mean,
are killers.
I did kind of, when I was 17.
That's true.
You try to like hold.
That is true.
So,
It was, yeah,
I
we
mean,
failed.
Nothing's changed, obviously, clearly.
We did
No, I'm
fail.
just kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
we did fail.
No, but I agree. I agree. There's, I don't know.
People should get the ass whipped. We should be able to fight one customer a day. I stand by that.
Then would it be making a commission? You're like
But
kicking some ass.
But it's like, you'll be so shocked how people, people
Because people don't respect.
But it's so crazy though. It's like people walk into this building of a corporation and they have like this immunity bubble around them that they can be a cunt no matter
Yes.
what.
A cunt
And
nugget.
there's nothing. Yeah, cunt nugget. Yeah, I
Exactly.
like that. Yeah. And like they can do whatever they want, and there's just like this immunity bubble around them.
Yeah,
Because if you touch them, you lose your job.
exactly. And so
Or if you say something, you lose your job.
exactly.
And they say whatever they want, and they run their fucking mouth. Or we'll greet them. We'll try to greet them at the door, and they just walk off, ignore you, back of their head the entire way, and then they'll come up to where we all stand, like, can someone help me? Like, I will. Like, what?
Yes, it's the same thing. Like, I don't get people who disrespect servers.
Oh,
It's such a good
It's so
character.
crazy.
It's such a good character.
I think
like,
everyone
judge.
should work retail or
Exact-
wait tables.
Exactly. Like, when I was a server at Rainforest Cafe, you'd get these people like, "Where's my water? Like, you haven't been back in like 30 seconds," and I'm just like.
Well, I have 6 tables.
Yes, and like I'm like working
And
my
I'm also-
ass off. Like, do you see me like
Also
taking a
running
break?
other people's food right now.
Exactly,
Like,
but it's just like I don't know. Like it's just the different perspective that we have. Like when we learn how to respect other people. Like there's people that go into these stores and they're like, it's that glory,
well,
right?
It's
Like
the entitlement.
they're the
you
boss.
lose that sense of entitlement.
well, it's because they don't have that kind of like. They don't have that type of title anywhere
Because
else.
they have nothing bringing them back to reality.
Well-
I get my ass whipped every Tuesday, Thursday. That brings me back to reality. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, like I said, anyone can just whoop my ass at any moment. Anybody. You can run into anybody on the streets, and they might know more than you.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's just that sense of reality that you're brought back to. And,
Yeah.
and people live outside of reality
It's
way
like-
too much.
Exactly. People need to learn how to respect other people
Hmm.
and just be nice. Like, I think that's just like the key to life, right? Like, no matter if you're talking to a janitor, no matter if you're talking to a CEO, it doesn't matter where in life these people are. Like, you just have to be nice.
Yeah,
You
treat
just have-
everybody as an individual.
Exactly. Like, why, why, like, shut the door on somebody or belittle somebody for what they do or where they're at, right? Like, I hate it. It pisses me off. Like, I'll say, if I see something like that, I typically say something. Well, I'll be like, be respectful. Like, why do you have to be such a jerk? And Daniel, like, gets embarrassed sometimes, I'm sure, when he's with me. Like, because
I'm trying to be put in those fighting situations.
No,
Right.
not fighting. Like I try to help people understand. Like it's about okay. So like I think I heard it on one of your other podcasts, but it was like some people just don't know how they grew up because and that's all they know. But I'm like, yes, that is all they know. But if we have the chance to educate them to not be that way and the reason why it's wrong, then it's my role to kind of step in and be like, hey, like, that's not okay. Like
That, and they have to take some sort of accountability too.
Exactly.
And also, okay, so why does someone feel this way? And also take that level of accountability and be like, okay, so clearly this person has a much different perspective on something than I do.
Mhm.
Let's see why they have that perspective.
Exactly.
And that's really important.
Mhm.
Like
But when you're yelling at somebody, that's not a good perspective at all. And
no,
I'm like,
nothing
oh,
good comes from
exactly.
that.
Like
Nothing
don't-
good comes from that.
just because your fries are late, that doesn't give you the right to. It's not always the server. It's like
it's usually not.
Is it? Yeah. So don't yell at
It's
people.
usually
like,
not.
and
It's
they're
usually
already-
85 tickets ahead of you. It's
exactly. People are, it's human. Again, it's going back to that thing about people are allowed to make errors every once in a while. And, you know, as an individual, I try to see that, right? Like, I'm like, man, they're busting their ass. Like, yeah, maybe they forgot my fries, but, like, eventually they'll come.
Yeah.
Right?
This lady wanted to call corporate on me yesterday because I didn't know what random accessory, out of the 1,000 accessories laying across my showroom, I didn't know which one she was referring to when she said an upside-down birthday hat.
Well, you need to learn.
And she
that
wanted
stuff.
to call corporate on me. Like,
I
fuck
would wanna-
off.
I would want to call corporate on you.
Clearly.
I'm
Like,
just
it's just
kidding.
like, come on, dude. It's like, what?
You got a Karen.
Yeah. Bro, it was like an upside-down birthday hat. And I'm like, cool. So I have no idea what you're talking about. So if you
Yeah.
want to come in and find it, I'd be more than happy to help you out. But I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, oh, what's
So
your name?
funny.
Like, come on, bro.
It's Bob.
It's Bob. Bob.
Bob Mattresses. Is that his name? Yeah.
I think that's a thing.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. What can we do for you? What can we do
She's
for
like,
you?
I just want love. That's all I want.
She seems like she's deprived, but she gets so much love. She got to go out with us last night. She got to hang out at the bar, and then she gets cuddles every night. She gets to sleep on a very nice mattress. Ain't that right? Yeah, she lives a great life. She gets to sleep on this couch when I'm not here. She lives a phenomenal life.
That's how our dogs are. I'm like,
Ain't
you
that
guys
right?
are so
Spoiled.
fortunate.
Yeah, right?
You could be
You could be
at
on the streets.
Exactly. I'm like, you know, have you seen those like videos on Instagram where it's like the dogs are like, I have my parent. I don't worry about life because my parents are dinks. You know, like dual income,
What's
dual
dinks?
dual income, no kids. And so like I'm the only kid, so they're just like chilling at home. Like they're the
Right.
only
Get whatever tool they
creatures.
want.
Exactly. They're the only creatures in this world that do not have to pay for anything.
Dude.
Right? It's just all they give us is just love.
Oh yeah, I start to try to think about how ways she could pay for rent because
I'm like, can my dog like clean up? Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
always
do
tell
you
them,
mind?
right? I was like,
Move
oh
the
my
whole
gosh.
table. Come on. You're showing. Yeah. Your moment of fame is you're done. You're done. This is
Your 30 seconds are over.
this is Dad's
I'm
show,
kidding.
okay? Not the Arya podcast. Alright?
That's so funny.
She's silly, man. She's something else. Dude. She'll it never gets old when she just wants to carry the leash, which is every time. She
That
just
is
wants
so
to walk
cute.
herself. She's like, I got this, Dad, okay? Like, I am a sophisticated enough woman that I got this.
That's so
She was like, just
cute.
give me the leash. I know where we're going. And then sometimes when she'll see me walking towards the apartment and she's clearly not ready to go inside, so she'll just stop. And she'll have the leash in her mouth, and you'll see her little bottom jaw like shaking because she just wants to play so bad, and her little jaw just.
Our dogs are so lazy though. Ours are older though. Like ours
Yeah,
are
they're
like
getting-
10 and 7. Diesel, he's a Shiba Inu lamb, like I was telling you, but he's the cutest dog. He recently got his, his balls chopped off, like a year or two ago,
Dang.
because he had like a tumor, so
Aw,
like he had to
poor
like get
guy.
it removed.
Yeah.
But he's just like the chubbiest little dog. He's not little, but then like you hear him like as soon as we get in the door, like you hear like this massive boom on the floor, like and he's running towards you. And my other dog, she just kind of like waits like a little princess. She's like, "Are you gonna take me out? Are you gonna feed me?"
So you know how before the podcast I was telling you don't be that person that's got to pee?
Yeah.
Well, I got to pee. Hold it down.
Okay.
All right, you got this. I have faith in you.
I don't know what to say. Like, do I just sit here and tell you stories about Jordan? I don't even remember any stories about Jordan. Let's see. Jordan had Justin Bieber hair. He used to do this little flip and dress in Abercrombie clothes, and like he always wore these cargo pants, or these cargo shorts, and they always had those little pockets, and always a blue Hollister or Abercrombie shirt. And he had, those like Adidas with like the 3 stripes on them, classic Jordan outfit. I was like, dude, like you need a. And I was surprised earlier he was saying that he was dressing like an emo kid. Nothing for me as can be, with like the skinny jeans and the, I guess like orange top or orange Vans, and the spiked belt. I'm like, I don't know who that was. so funny. But well, I mean, am I really supposed to continue talking?
I can cut it out.
Okay, good. Because I was like, I don't know.
You're fine.
Yeah, cut this out.
He always says that. Father?
I was telling him about your typical high school outfit.
What was the typical high school outfit?
You had the cargo shorts,
Ah.
typically khaki, multiple pockets, and they were always kind of like, they weren't baggy, but they were like to your knees. It always seemed like you had like a blue Abercrombie or Hollister shirt, and then those shoes, like they were the Sambas with like the 3 stripes, the Adidas with the black stripes, and they were white shoes.
Yeah.
That was your typical. That's how I remember you.
Okay, I don't know if I wore the Adidas part.
It wasn't the Adidas. It was like a different shoe. It was like I don't know. It had like 3. I just remember that, and then your Justin
You were
Bieber hair.
spot on with the cargo shorts. My girlfriend in college ended that immediately.
Well,
The second we started dating, she said, okay.
praise her.
She said, so Jordan.
Is that when you switched to skinny jeans?
Yeah, and like in the actual shorts,
Oh.
flat front shorts.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Instantly.
You need to when this plays, you need to show some pictures.
We might
Of,
be
like,
able,
you
we
and,
might
like,
be able to
Sid-
find some.
Some like skinny jeans.
I don't know if I have that many. Well, I mean, I still wear skinny jeans.
Like, but I just think of
Skinny-ish.
I think of like those like really like skinny jean, like those emo kid.
Oh, I didn't
like,
wear
with the
nothing
spiked.
that. I didn't wear nothing that.
Well, that's how you
Not
described it
that-
earlier.
Well, okay, so I did have really black. I had black skinny jeans with like a studded belt. Yeah. Yeah, we all went through that phase. No, all listening to Fall Out Boy and fucking Mayday Parade.
My
Wearing
Chemical Romance.
My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, that
wearing
was
a
real
studded
deep.
wearing a studded belt and
I know.
white T-shirts with colored Vans.
Eyeliner at the bottom of my.
No.
I did.
Okay.
I had like.
Nope, stop it.
I did. That was like my middle school. Like I was like My Chemical Romance. Panic at the Disco was such a thing.
Yep. I remember listening to Fall Out Boy all the time. 10th
Yeah.
grade. No, yeah, she ended that immediately. It was like the first week. She was like, so the cargo shorts.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
Oh,
she
it's
did
great.
you a favor.
Oh yeah, she did.
She
for
completely
sure.
did
Because if
you.
I was still wearing cargo shorts to this day, it would not be good.
No,
No,
I'm glad.
no, me too.
Um,
Me too.
but it's crazy. Time just flies, right? Like I just one day, you know, I feel like I just woke up all of a sudden, and I'm like, I cannot believe that it's been 10 years since we graduated high school. By the way, anybody listening that's going to be going to, or that did graduate in our 2011 class, we will be having our reunion.
Are you going?
Yes, I am sponsoring the food.
You're
so-
sponsoring the food. What are you
Yes.
bringing?
Well, they would.
Tamales.
No, I wasn't gonna.
Menudo.
No, they wanted to do bushes, so I'll do. You know, to remind you of your high school lunchtime.
Wait, we're really bringing bushes?
But they were trying like. Oh no! It was like really low budget
Sure.
reunion.
Yeah, we gotta
so,
put
you
it on
know.
our. Where's it gonna be at?
It's gonna be at the Shiloh Inn in Killeen, I think.
I remember that place.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Isn't that like right next to where we had prom?
Where do we have? Oh yeah, no wait, where do we have?
We had prom at the convention. Didn't we have it at? Was it the convention center that was right next to it?
No, I don't.
I don't remember. But we had talked about before this we had talked about project graduation.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was so much fun.
Oh, that was really fun.
So much fun. So we rented out an entire water park, the one in Belton.
For 18-year-olds.
Yeah. And we rented it out and we got there at midnight.
No, we got there like at 10.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 10.
I feel like we were there for a while.
We
though.
were at 10 and then we didn't leave until like 4. Like it
Yeah.
was like a long time.
That was when Philip decided to move down here.
Mhm.
So he came down here that
That
one
was my
night.
fault.
Yeah, came down here that one night. Decided he was gonna move down. Drove back to Kentucky, packed his bags, and then drove back.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
Because he fell in love with Erica.
Yeah,
That's
so cool.
That's so awesome.
It was cool.
It was partially my fault that he's here. Because Erica was like, oh, that guy's really cute. And I was like, and I told Philip, Erica thinks you're really cute. And then Erica later told me, like, no, I thought the other guy was cute, but thanks. Like, and then 7 years later, here you go. And it's so funny because then I ended up making out with the other guy. Because I didn't.
And that's an Elva story.
No. I didn't know that was who she meant. Like, you know, I knew that other guy from like middle school. So like, nah.
Nah.
So, but that was.
That's an Elva story right there.
It was high school.
Yeah.
So
Crazy times.
it was a good time.
Who else? Man. Who?
Megan McVeigh just recently moved back.
Really?
Yep, she's living in San Antonio, I think, till September, and she's gonna move. She's gonna actually stationed in Fort Hood.
Okay.
So I was trying to do like a reunion for all our friends, like
The
and
Patton Park people?
well, the Patton Park people, and then everybody else.
Like who?
Like me, I'm not a Patton Park person.
No, but we hung out with. Neither was I.
well, yeah.
My dad wasn't an officer.
Well, Garrett, yourself.
Patton Park people.
Yeah, and that's really it. It was just us and the Patton Park people, I think.
Yeah.
We're the only two
Well,
people.
Garrett. Yeah, we were the outsiders.
Yeah.
And then who else hung out with us that wasn't a part of Patton Park?
Philip Grant.
Yeah.
But he only hung out with us for a summer, though.
Dude, that summer was lit.
That was the best.
We talk about that summer all the time. None of us worked.
Yes.
None of us worked. We went 3 straight months doing whatever the fuck we wanted to, and we all hung out every single day. We didn't do any, we had no responsibilities.
What did we
Dude, we did so much. What do you mean?
I remember
We went
like
cliff
that was
diving
the best.
twice.
We'd go to Austin all the time.
Yep. We'd go to Austin.
We'd go to the gay clubs. Remember
Yeah,
that?
oh, dude.
We'd go to, like, way before they were like, oh, didn't you?
So I won $500.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
for
Jordan. So Jordan.
You weren't even there.
Yes, I was
You
there.
were?
Yes. Well, we volunteered you for that gay club, and there was like a contest to take off your
I
shirt.
was in college. No, my shirt?
Yes.
I was damn near naked.
See, I don't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I was trying to be PG-13 for all your listeners,
Well,
but
that's just not the
clearly-
true story. The true story was I was down to just my underwear. I still have pictures. I woke up with so many ones in my drawers. Yeah, I made like $600 in 30 minutes. I was like, I could do this.
You're like, hell yeah.
I can do this. So
Was it at
to tell the
that?
story from the start. So I remember this night. So this is Erica's birthday.
Was this at that butterfly place?
I couldn't tell you what the name of the bar was.
Okay.
However, this is Erica's birthday, and we walk in, and the person who was running the show was like, "Hey, we're gonna do a strip contest in like 15 minutes," and I jokingly said, "Yeah, I'll do it," joking, and so y'all put my name on there, didn't tell me, and ironically, I was the first person called. I still remember this shit was so much fun. Like sometimes I think about this and I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah, I'm going back again.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, rent due.
And so y'all put my name on the list, and we're staying at the bar, and then the person grabs the mic and they start the show, and they're like, all right, so we're bringing down our first contestant, Jordan Brodey, and I turn to look at y'all, and Philip has 2 shots in his hand and just is like, here, and I'm like, all right, here we go. So I had to get on stage. I was fully clothed, and I had to strip down to just my underwear and then dance. And I'm still proud to this day because I beat out a woman. So I won. Just saying.
Wow.
Now,
There's
granted, we were
always plenty of men in there.
granted though we were rolling like 30 deep, and the winner was decided by the crowd, and we did make up the majority of the crowd. and so
So everybody else was not clapping. We were like, ah!
yay! And so I was groped plenty of times that night. However, 30. So
Did you swipe
we got up there.
right? No, I'm just kidding.
Hmm?
I was like, did you swipe right? No, I'm just kidding.
No, didn't swipe right. No. I just wanted the money.
You're like, but
So
I will go back for some more money.
I would go back for some more money. Yes.
Okay, Cardi
So I
B.
got up there, danced. It was like 2-3 minutes, I think, and then there was like 5 or 6 of us, and then they narrowed it down to just me and the other girl that came in second. Hey, and we had to dance around the club for 15 minutes. And so I just remember just going around the bar, just dancing on just everybody.
This is at a gay club, so it's like a bunch of guys.
There was a few dudes.
Yeah.
And there were also a lot of women as well, though.
I only remember a lot.
There was a good amount of women, at least in our group. There was plenty of women in our group.
We always, because I don't know why we always, because they were the funnest.
We were like
they were the
30
bars.
deep. Oh,
Yeah.
they're always fun though.
Yeah, they were so fun. I think the one that we went to actually closed.
Probably.
It was called like Butterfly or like some kind of like fly something, like aesthetic fly.
So I had to dance around for 15 minutes, and got my jaw stuffed with a lot of ones, and then I won $500. It was a great night. And then I woke up and I was like, just ones, just all over the place.
You're just rolling in it.
Just rolling in ones. It was great.
Did you know this story?
It was a great time.
No, you
Actually,
didn't.
I read it once.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I told the story. Yeah, I still have pictures on my phone.
So he's really telling this story because
Hmm?
he wants to be casted for what is
Magic
it?
Mike?
Magic Mike 3. So
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think I could hang. I can't dance that well. That was good. I forgot about that. I forgot that you were there.
you know, I forgot about a lot of things.
That's when they lived on Riverside. Philip did. He
Yeah.
lived on Riverside.
Mhm.
And I remember one spring break, me, Eric. Remember Eric?
Which Eric?
Eric Morin.
The one that has my blanket that never gave it back in the back of his truck.
So Eric.
It was Eric.
So Eric, it was me, Eric, and Deontay, and we all went to Phillips for spring break. And we're walking around, and we're just like any apartment that we heard playing, like blasting music. We just walked in.
I used to do that.
We just walked in. It was
Mhm.
thinking about it. It was so wild. But we just walked in the random people's apartments all weekend. And I remember we walked in the one, and it was in the process of getting shut down. Like, we were there maybe like 20, 30 minutes. We're doing keg stands on somebody's random ass keg. And the security shows up, or the apartment complex shows up, and we just walk out with a bunch of beer. Like,
Oh my god.
we just stole beer from the party and just left and just went to the next one.
Oh my god.
That was a wild weekend.
No,
That
yeah.
was a wild weekend.
I think we even went to like a Halloween party like that, and they ended up busting it, and we left. I think you were there too. It was with Erica and Philip, and I was dressed as Freddy Krueger, and Erica was dressed as a lumberjack, and then Philip was dressed as, I don't know, he always wanted his shirt off back then. Like, you could not go anywhere without Philip Grant at his fucking shirt.
You mean Philip Quick?
Or Philip Quick. Philip Quick. There we go.
Yeah, and then so back to the summer though. Went cliff diving.
Mm-hmm.
We played beer pong at James Lee's house, or Ronnie Dollar Hyde's house, all the time. James Lee, Philip Grant. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
I honestly don't.
But those
remember.
are the people I still talk to. I still talk to Philip. We still play video games. James Lee, we still play video games.
James Lee, isn't he like a game?
Yeah, he works for Activision.
Activision.
He worked on the most recent Call of Duty.
I think one of our other classmates, she was a grade ahead of us. She works for either Activision or Blizzard, or what is it, Blizzard.
Greg.
Yeah.
Greg does well too.
Greg Newton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you would have joined our virtual happy hour, you would have seen him too.
I've talked to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's good times. Good times.
The cliff diving was always fun though. We went twice. Did you go both times?
I went every single time.
Every single time.
And
we went twice.
And then we went. No, we went more than twice.
just went
It was.
twice.
We probably went without you.
Maybe you might have.
And then we went camping. We went camping in Belton.
We went camping.
I remember going camping. I don't know if you went.
I don't think I went camping.
We went camping for sure. It was like right after we graduated, and it was pretty awesome.
I don't think I went camping. Just the cliff jumping. We jumped off a 65-foot cliff.
I completely just remembered that I never finished my story about Mr. House.
Dude, you didn't. Because I
Yes.
cut you off and I said Mr. Finnan.
Yes.
tell you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the one thing you learned from Mr. Hess.
The one thing I learned from Mr. Hess. So.
Not the only thing.
No,
just
I
one other
learned,
thing.
Well, I mean, like it didn't click until I went to college, and then like I started practicing like in my real job, right? So like right now, and this is like super into the seriousness. So right now, interest rates are super low, right? Yeah. So all these people are just flocking to buy homes because they're like, it's super cheap. But really, if you realize that like everybody's like frantic about buying a house because you can get cheap debt, in reality, you want to wait until interest rates are a little bit higher, because then there's not as much demand, right? When there's not as much demand, then like your prices come back down. And so that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for prices to come back down if once interest rates go up, right? Because then I can always refinance a place.
Sure.
And then eventually, you know, I can rent it for more. But right now, if like you're able to, if you already have a duplex, it's going to be great for you, because prices are really high, right? Like for buying a home. So not a lot of people can afford down payments. And so what do people do when they can't afford down payments or buying a house? They go rent duplexes and apartments. So those are the people in a really good place right now.
Dropping tidbits right now.
Exactly.
Look at you dropping those gems.
Exactly. After
just throwing that in there.
Exactly. I'm trying to educate. I'm trying to make people laugh, I guess.
All 4 points. Actually, that's more than a Bud Light, no? 4.7%?
I mean, it's pretty strong.
Is that more? Well, I didn't say all that. But is that that's more than like a Keystone.
Yeah, no, Keystone. It's not. This is Keystone Smooth, I guess.
Think so?
Remember those commercials, like Keystone Smooth?
It tastes a little bit better than a Keystone, though.
No, it does. It does.
Yeah,
but like those were like the commercials back then. Everybody used beer pong Keystone.
No, I was too bougie for
gross.
that. I beer ponged with nothing less than Bud Light.
Shut up.
We
had it with Keystone. Don't even play.
Not me.
Okay, Jordan will try to tell you he was bougie in high school, but no, he literally drank Keystone. He would have drank it if it was horse piss. Like, you don't play. Don't play.
I didn't even drink.
Remember
I didn't do nothing in high school. I'm like someone.
No, I was good.
Wild.
You know, I was going through a hard time.
Why?
I was going through a hard time.
You were going through something.
I was.
You were
I was going.
Wild.
I was. I mean, it's not a bad thing, right? Like, I got it out of my system.
It's not.
Like, okay.
It's not a bad thing.
So my grandpa had gotten, again, going back to like my grandparents. My grandpa, when I was, I think in senior year, he got deported.
Mm-hmm.
And so my grandma went with him because he had a heart condition, and they were living in Mexico. So I was living by myself in the U.S. Like, I'm 17 years old, like 17 years old. And I just went fucking balls to the wall. Like, I mean, obviously, like, as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, like, couldn't process that. But, I mean, I'm grateful for, like, the experiences that I had. And, of course, like, I got it out of my system, and now I'm, like, a civil, citizen of society, I guess.
Oh, is that so?
Kind of, I guess.
Pretty sure Daniel probably still has some crazy stories.
Do you have crazy stories of me? I don't think you do.
Just a little bit, yeah.
I mean, I'm not that crazy.
In Colombia, dancing on the street with the guy, and he wanted you to pay him.
I seen that. I seen that on your Instagram.
Yeah, I saw
that.
I was in Colombia, and there was this street dancer, and he it's like in this church kind of like courtyard. It's like really beautiful like buildings, and you have churches. That's where people unite, right? And so this guy like comes up and he's trying to like get people to dance with him. And so then all of a sudden I start dancing with him, and like he's like, I'm like moving. I'm like, yeah, like,
yeah.
He's like, if you record, like, you better send it to me. I did a good job, didn't I? I did a good job. But then after, this mofo asked me to tip him, and I'm like, dude, I just gave people a show for you. I'm like, you tip me.
I was helping you.
Exactly.
I was helping your business.
Exactly. I was like, no. And he was like, well, why don't you ask your friends to tip me? And I was like, no, they're tipping me later. So that was funny. But that's not crazy. No, what Jordan saw was crazy.
Yeah, she was actually crazy. Yeah.
I wasn't crazy. I wasn't
She
crazy.
tried to
I
fight
was.
everybody.
No, I didn't. You're a liar.
The second the alcohol hit, she was ready to fight anyone.
You're such a liar.
Anyone.
You're such a liar. That
Look,
was that
you
one
just
time.
admitted like 30 minutes ago that you barely remember any of it.
Well, no, I don't remember like.
You don't remember that night, so.
I don't remember because
don't remember
I think
trying
you're
to
mistaken.
kill me and Philip Grant. Nope.
I think
I'm
you're
not.
mistaken.
We're
But
gonna call
no,
Philip.
that was literally just one time.
One time.
Yes, every other time, like you're clearly mistaken. You don't remember high school.
One time.
Yes, that was one time. I wasn't crazy. I was just wild. There's a difference. There's a difference. I was a free spirit. To all my high school friends, you better not rat me out. No, I'm just kidding.
They're gonna see you
Hmm.
in a couple of months.
That was good.
They're
I
gonna
can
see
hack.
you,
I
and they're
can
gonna-
hire a hacker and tell
They're
him
gonna
to
tell you
steer
the
videos.
rest of the stories that we can't even tell on the podcast. That's how bad they are.
No, they shut up, Jordan. You make me like you portray me into like this the worst person. Like Daniel's gonna
No.
be like later we're gonna leave. He's like, so what did you do? And I'm like,
Taking notes.
literally that. He's like, so what is he talking
So
about?
what happened?
And I'm just like,
yeah.
Jordan was just like not. He was like, oh. Like he was just like, oh, like I don't do anything bad. Like my mom needs me home by like 9:30, kind of person. So
It's true.
yeah, with your cargo shorts.
Yeah, it's also true.
So you know,
but
your
they had extra
version of
pockets though. I could carry whatever I needed. Guess who people came up to and said, "Hey, can you hold this for me?" I had their backs. That's how important I was.
yeah, that's why you were invited to parties to
That's
carry
fine.
the girls like
That's-
phones,
yeah.
like their wallets.
Hey, that's an important gig.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an important gig.
You at least got invited.
Yeah, I did just fine.
That's why we actually invited him to like places. We're like, okay.
With the cargo shorts.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
so-
he wears cargo shorts?
Yeah,
Because
I know.
I always ask Daniel, I'm like, can you carry my wallet and my phone? And I'm like, oh, yes. Like, cargo shorts. He's the perfect guy. Everybody gives you their shit.
We all hung out so much.
Yes, that was a great time.
Good times, dude. That summer was nuts.
It was a
It was a
great
summer,
time.
dude. What
If-
we would do if we could just go another 3 months without working?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I can't do that now, for sure.
No.
Nope.
No.
That's why I tell people, like, enjoy. Like, I tell my brother and I
No,
tell.
my sister's in college right now. I'm trying to tell her the same thing.
Enjoy it. Like,
Enjoy it.
why are you in such a rush to grow up? Like, there's
It's
no.
not fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's
It's
benefits.
somewhat fun.
My late
but
20s.
adulting's not all that fun.
Like, my late 20s are the best. This is my favorite age, right? Like, in my young 20s, like, okay, teenager, I was wild. Like, young 20s, I was broke and I had a lot of energy, but I couldn't do a lot of shit, right? And I had to work and I had to study and all this stuff. Now I'm in my late 20s and I'm like, I finally feel comfortable enough where I know what adulting kind of is. And I have, like, enough money to, like, go out to dinner on a Friday night and not have to, like, be like, oh, fuck.
We're starting to figure out adulting
Exactly.
a little bit.
Exactly.
You know. And but it's still tough though.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. Especially right now. There's just so much shit going on. Like we were talking about earlier, it's just
Consistently. Yeah. It just keeps going.
it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
I don't know. I do have an opinion of what's going on right now with certain things in Texas, and that's the only thing that I really just like today right now is just like
It seems fair.
you know, but
Seems fair.
yeah, I'm willing to say it, but I don't know what your opinion is. And again, it's like exchanging like those ideas. It's like, yeah, like I
don't
think
have
that
I don't have an opinion on it.
well, no, it's not even opinion, but it's like, you know how like earlier we were talking about like, you know, maybe if when people like sit down and they actually like talk about things and stuff like that, but you
It's
know.
not my place to have an opinion on it.
Exactly. It isn't. Damn right. You just said it well. Good job.
Like,
that was a good response.
I'm just gonna sit here and yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. Stay out of that one.
You're like you're gonna stay out of that one.
No, I think it's wild that people's personal beliefs can affect laws. I think that's kind of crazy.
Well, didn't we like escape England because the church was just trying to dominate life,
bit.
right? And then like now you're here in Texas and you're like, it's just like yeah, if people want to have their own beliefs on what they want to do, you don't have to like force it on. Daniel doesn't like cilantro. I'm not gonna force him to eat it. You know, kind
Are
of
you
thing.
one of the people that think it tastes like soap?
Yes.
Ah, that's so unfortunate.
I know.
I'm so sorry for you.
I have
Cilantro's
tacos.
amazing.
I have tacos with. I have tacos as a side to my cilantro because I freaking love it so much.
Dude, cilantro's so good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's so unfortunate. Like you don't know what you're missing.
Doesn't really tickle it.
Well, yeah, you
Tickle
say that now
anything?
because it tastes like soap to you. You have that gene. But if you didn't though,
I actually found out on 23andMe.
Yeah, 23andMe.
23andMe?
Yeah.
What's
Find
that?
out because of that, but it says
You've never
more than
done-
likely not gonna like cilantro, and I go.
Yep.
What's that?
23andMe is like this thing where you send in like a sample of your saliva, and it tells you where you're from. Like my ancestry report says that I'm 53%.
You just got this just laying around.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
53% European.
You're Eastern Asian?
Eastern Asian, yeah.
40%?
Indigenous American, almost 39%.
How are you? I feel like you exceeded 100%. How does
What?
that work?
What do you mean?
I feel like those numbers add up greater than 100%.
No, they don't.
Yeah. Are you
You
sure?
are-
Scroll
See,
up.
You clearly did not.
53.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, these are like subcategories.
Yes.
Okay, I was like,
See,
bro.
Jordan did
I
not
was
know
like-
how to add.
I was like
in
50
high
plus
school.
40 plus 30 plus 20.
He's
That's
like,
greater
carry
than
the
100.
4, divide by 2.
That's great. Hey, I don't remember you in our AP calculus class.
I wasn't. No, I was in.
No,
AP,
you weren't.
I was in AP Physics.
That's fine.
I couldn't take AP.
But you weren't in our calculus
I
class.
took calculus in college.
Oh yeah, that's cute. Yeah, I
Yeah.
passed. I left the fucking AP test blank, but
No,
I
I
passed
d-
the class. You know what's crazy? I
Were you
tutored.
in AP Physics? It
I didn't
the s-
take AP
It
Physics.
was
No,
the
no,
same
no,
thing
because-
it had calculus in it.
No. I didn't take AP Physics because when I moved to Texas, I was technically a year behind in science.
I mean, we clearly saw you were. You were behind on a lot of things.
No, what's crazy is in calculus, this is how bad those word problems in math fuck me up. In calculus, I
You didn't know
tutored
how to read.
Erica.
Mm-hmm.
I tutored Erica. Taught her how to do it. And then we would take the class. She would get an A and I would get a C because the word problems would fuck my head up and I would be so indecisive. It would be like, I don't know what fucking... I know all the equations in my head, but I don't know which one applies to this question.
Well, you were talking about earlier how you're indecisive.
Yeah,
where
very.
like if you get,
Super.
the
Incredibly.
mind is happier with 2 choices versus a gajillion.
Yeah.
So I bet you're those type of people that scroll through Netflix for an entire freaking hour and a half looking for a movie.
Facts.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
I've gotten
You
better.
gotta know.
I've gotten better at just...
Now it has like
try.
that function that
I
says like
try.
play something.
Really?
Yeah.
There's just a play something button?
Yes. Like
There
as
should be
soon
a
as you
button literally called play something.
Literally, there
It
is.
literally, wait. It literally
yes,
just says...
I just said that.
I should be credited for that. I feel like I came up with this.
No, you didn't.
I feel like the button was made for me. Wait,
That
there's a
is
button
you.
literally that just says play something.
Yes, dude.
Genius.
Yes.
Yeah, because
It's made for you people.
No,
that
because
are
I'll scroll
indecisive.
through Netflix, and then I'll be like, but
Too many
okay,
choices.
But then no. But I'll be like, okay, there's some good things on here, but let's go check HBO Max, and
Yeah,
then I'll scroll through
exactly.
HBO Max,
And
I'm
then
like,
Hulu.
yeah, and then
and
I'm
then
like,
Amazon.
yeah, and then I'm like, okay, let's narrow it down.
And then Paramount Plus now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck. So this is why I watch series. Like, because I know that I'm going to go home and watch it. Like, right now I just watched Daniel wanted to watch it, actually. Went to New Orleans. And so he wanted when we were on the ghost tours, they said something about the originals, the spinoff from the
Mhm.
Vampire Diaries. And so I've been watching that. So go watch the originals. It's actually a really good show. It's a great
Is it
show.
though?
It is.
Is it?
Is it?
I like it. Have you seen it?
No, I have it.
Okay, see?
I have it.
See,
Is it
it's
good?
kind of like your mom going to, you're like, those
My mom?
yeah,
What does my mom have to do with
Because
this?
you just said your mom had never been to Paris, but she's like, oh, they hate Americans. yeah, damn.
That's fair. Touche.
So-
Touche. That was fair.
exactly.
That was a good point.
Calling
I
you-
respect that.
calling
You
you out.
listen.
Active listener.
Active.
I'm sorry,
It's
what?
good.
It's good.
You can't use the same joke like 4 times in the same podcast.
I literally just used it twice. See, you're
No,
not listening.
This is like the 4th time.
What?
This is like the 4th time.
That's the
We're
thing.
gonna count it. So he's gonna edit it in. 1, 2.
He can edit it. Exactly. That he could be like, okay, she used it like 8 times. So.
Oh no, dude. But fuck.
This is really
crazy.
This has really just been a conversation for us. But
That's
we're
all
gonna,
it
like,
is.
we don't give a shit what they're talking about. Like, what are they talking
That's
about?
okay. I had fun. You having fun?
Yeah, I'm having a great
That's all
time.
that matters.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, they'll enjoy it. If they don't enjoy it, then they don't enjoy it. If they enjoy it, then it's stupid shit.
You have to like smack your. Exactly.
Okay, I got this. I'm gonna practice.
So now
I
when
got
like
this.
somebody tells you like they've accomplished
I'm just gonna
something
FaceTime you and
big,
just be like, and then hang up.
if see how like you know how I post stories and you're like we get it, so now you can can send me things back.
So, what?
He,
Every time you would post something on Instagram, and I would comment on, "We get it, you're rich."
I'm not. No, he's like, we get it. You're. I don't know. What did you? it
Usually
wasn't-
you're rich because
No,
you
you
would
didn't
always
say
be
rich.
posting videos of y'all in the places that you're working out of, or like whatever commercial spots, and it'd always be these dope ass flats or these dope suites or whatever the fuck they are. And it'd be always these super dope spots, and we're like, we get it, Elva.
Well, yeah. I mean, like my work and stuff. But then
it's awesome.
Well,
It's awesome.
you would
I
like
love seeing
post
it.
like pictures of yourself without a shirt, and we're like, we get it.
you
You're
did, you
fit.
hit me with it back, yeah.
Yeah, because it would be like in the mirror, like taking pictures. I'm like, we get it.
She did give me back. Oh, cause you started posting workout photos too. Fuck, I don't remember exactly what I said.
You said
Or
we
like
get
a
it. You're
specific-
like,
a specific situation. But that is funny though. You did give me back one time, and I was like, that's funny.
I'm like, I'm trying to look. It's your life of Brodey.
Damn, I don't remember now. I don't know. It's not that important.
Yeah,
We'll fight. Think of something.
I know you were always just telling me that you were jealous, so it's okay.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you did say that. I'm so jealous, so.
That-
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do have proof.
It's true. Y'all are
Exactly.
crushing
I'm just
it.
kidding.
I respect it.
I'm
I respect
kidding.
it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
I ain't
I know.
hating. Shit, enjoy y'all. Live your best life.
No, I think you were jealous of me eating the tamales. I think that's what it was.
Oh, the tamales, yes.
No, I mean, I've been very fortunate to, do something with my life. And again, it comes from, right, like in high school, I was this wild girl, but I always had like kind of like this ambition to do more. So
Well, those people usually turn out to be those people, though.
Yeah. I mean, I always had that like drive, and so I'm very appreciative for the opportunities that I've had. Right, so I work for a great company right now, and eventually, I'll probably do my own business. And in my 20s, it's all about learning.
What
Right,
do you wanna do?
knowledge is key. I want to do my own investments eventually. Right, so right now, I'm very like. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I listen to a lot of like audiobooks, and they're all just like about like business or like, how to do certain things like, influence friends and all that stuff. And I'm very personable and stuff, but it's just also from like a business environment, how to learn how to interact with people and whatnot. I may be able to do it, but there's always room for improvements, right? Or taking a writing class. Right now, I'm actually taking a presentation class where I meet with this guy on a weekly basis, and he teaches me how to present or how to, just be like use my hands and talk to people. So, eventually, it's as my 20s like fade through and it's all about learning. I think my 30s will be to implement that knowledge that I gained.
Oh, yeah. I can
Yeah.
agree with that. I think
Yeah.
the 30s are going to be fun.
Yeah.
30s are going to be fun.
30s are the new 21s.
Hopefully what we did over the last 8 years, 10 years,
10 years.
really carries us into the next
Not
portion.
hopefully, they will.
Well, you never know. Shit
All
can
that
happen.
in mind. Yeah, shit is always going to happen, but you have to have the perspective that you will do it, right? Because if you're like, oh, I might do it, then you always have that doubt.
Sure.
I will do it. Yeah, shit's always going to happen. Things are going to get derailed, but as long as you keep that end vision, I mean, you're going to carve your path there. So,
It's true. It's true. I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
Yep.
This was fun. Give me, whoa, no clapping yet.
Yay.
Hold on. You haven't made it yet. We're not
Are
done
you gonna
yet.
give them a
We haven't stopped
show
it yet.
for your 500? No, just kidding.
Wow, they're not ready for that.
Maybe
They're-
start doing a GoFundMe.
yeah, right. They're not ready for that. YouTube will take that shit down.
Okay, Jordan's only fan.
Yeah, right.
Life of Brodey. Is
I
that your
thought about it.
stage name?
It should be. It's a
That's
good one.
That's a good name. That's a
It's a
good
good
name.
one. Or what's up? Oh, I couldn't. Never mind.
Oh,
Give me.
I get it now. Left turn.
Give me two goals. Personal, business.
Personal goal. A personal goal for myself is continue to be grounded, continue to be a good person, a nice person to people. I think that's just important. And a business goal for myself is, you know, it's just hard because I want to do so many things. But at the end of the day, I don't want, again, it goes back to that, I don't want to continue to work a 9 to 5 every day, right? Like I want to have my own business where I have my passive income so I can actually enjoy life.
Absolutely.
Right? Because
Absolutely.
you can't do it if you're just constantly...
You can't.
2 weeks of vacation is
No,
nothing.
it's
Like
terrible.
I need more
It's
from
terrible.
life. You
And
know,
we can
there's-
only take them like 3 months out of the year anyways.
Yeah,
Because the rest of the months are blacked out.
exactly.
It's fucking trash.
Yeah, I just, yeah. Or you don't get to take them at all. Like I've maxed out my PTO at work because I don't get to take a lot of time. But I enjoy it. I'm learning a lot. So,
That's
but
great.
30s will be it. So
Boom, boom. Do it.
Yeah.
We got to do this again. That was fun.
that was fun.
Thank you for coming down.
Cheers.
Appreciate you driving down.
And of course.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Absolutely. See you next time, guys.
Bye.